Hello. Hello. And
Hello.
Oh, hi.
welcome guys. Welcome back.
Oh my god.
What?
I'm sorry. It just looked like I was plastered up against the screen like
You,
that.
you were.
I didn't realize it's what it looked like. That's all. Oh my god. All right.
Good morning. Good
Good
early
morning,
morning.
everybody.
Good morning.
Oh, another day. Another podcast
Friday.
thing. Friday. Yep.
Friday. It is Friday.
So, today we're going to focus on time management
The
and
studio has just gained
time
a sponsor.
optimization. I should probably can the alerts. Right?
Yeah, you probably should. You never
It's
know
up
who's
to
going to
you,
fire
yeah.
one off in the middle of the podcast.
You
after
never
all.
know. You never
You
know.
never know.
So yeah, some of the concerns that came up last week and what we noticed through our conversations is something that could probably benefit everybody is time, right? Where do we get it? How do we find it? How do we construct it?
Yeah.
we
How,
framework
Organize
it.
your day.
Yeah.
yeah. How do you organize it? How do you, how do you organize it? When you do find yourself with that extra chunk of time you weren't expecting, how do you know what to do with it? That kind of thing. Yeah, there's a few pieces that go along with this, but absolutely.
Yeah.
I know personally I tend to I tend to just be a people person. So talking to people is something I do a lot in my off time. Whether it be DMs or whatever, video games, I don't know. And I think that's super important. It's just not good to shut yourself out when you're not live, you know?
No, you can't. Like it's you always have to be talking out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And
Having a name for yourself somewhere.
yeah, yeah, and just constantly and everything teaches you something too, right? So like constantly being on the move and being able to like use your time wisely is important because everything you do, every little unique thing that you do has something new to teach you along the way as well. And it's important that like we talked last week about constantly learning and trying to learn something new every time you do something,
Mm-hmm.
right? And just try to extract something from that experience.
Right. Even just a conversation. You learn a lot from other people.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And for everybody, like this is something I'm coming around to again. I've been so busy, like working really hard to learn certain techniques and what's going to really work for me and my content. And what happens is like when somebody approaches you and asks you what they should be doing, that's different for everybody. And it's different for personality types. And what's making me think of this is Spooo, what you said. Like you talk about being a people person and being out there, and that's something that from the time, certainly like from the time since I've started marbles, you've always been amazing at. Like I saw you everywhere. Like every
Right.
time I'd get into it, whether it was my marble stream, whether it was somebody else's that I was visiting, whatever, like you were almost like omnipresent. You'd stop in, you'd say hi, you'd hang out for a few, make sure everybody, knew you were there, and
I
that
learned
you're
that
there
that's
and
what I was
watching
good
and
at.
supporting
You
a
know?
bit. And yeah, that was always something that I actually really admired about how you handled that, is you always had the networking down. It's like everybody, it's like, oh hey, Spoo's here. And then it was, there was a party in the stream for 15 minutes while you were hanging. And
See how that's I'm good at on Twitch like that. See, I'm not always good everywhere else. And that's definitely something I need to work on, is being like that on other platforms.
yeah.
So you can gain more reach that way, you know?
It's always tough because
Yeah.
it's a different delivery method, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, playing around on like if you get into the social media side of it, when you start getting into it and you start realizing that it's actually fun, and not just part of a routine you're trying to do. It's the social media side of it is actually a blast, and it becomes a game because you're figuring out what which is where I've been doing a lot of my focus right now. It's like what kind of posts. Like I actually have gotten to the point now where I will go to my profile and I will look down my posts to see what kind of posts are gaining more traction. Like what does the community want to see? What do they enjoy? The irony is you just don't know what it's going to be. Like I did a couple Snapchat videos, and they were meant to be one-offs. They were just meant to be screwing around because that's all I did, right? My big bald head with two pigtails on it and me going like this and turning my head to the side and smiling with missing teeth, I don't necessarily consider to be super high quality content, but it was meant to be funny,
Yeah.
you know? And I get more traction out of those posts than I did most other things. That, or if I have a really, really, really like what I call a really deep thought, and I'll record that off the cuff, and I'll throw that up there. That usually gains some traction as well. But a lot of it is analyzing what your community is looking for from you,
Right.
And if you're the trick is to not let yourself get too distracted from what's actually working for you. Like if you're really good at networking and jumping in through streams and all that, it's important to also try to start working more on like social media, things like that. But at the same time, don't lose sight of the things you're doing that are correct. So like if you're networking really well, don't let go of the networking to go play around in social media more.
Right.
Just find a way to layer that on top.
No, yeah. Totally.
Random thought on that. I think one of my most popular posts on Twitter was a picture of a pickle sandwich, well, pickle instead of bread. And I think it was because it was just so unique and different,
Mhm.
So, and people were, so whenever I'm posting something, I try to think like that. Like, what is unique and different? That's going to be like, people are going to be like, whoa. kind of. And yeah, it was, and I got to meet up with some of the Spooo Town members when I went and got that sandwich too. So I got to write a nice little message and then put the picture of the pickle sandwich. And it's just that it's funny the way those things work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because it's more engaging. It's like it's almost more relevant than just another like going live or whatever, right? Like another message that I'm just doing this again kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like that what do you call it?
Yeah, people, and going back to a food picture, people might think something you eat or create is really weird, so why not take a picture? If someone's ever said, "Oh, you eat that?" Take a picture of it, put it on your social media, and ask anybody else, "Hey, anybody else do this?" and see what kind of traction you get. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that.
We have a tendency, like I talk to so many people that say I hate social media, right? It's like, why? It doesn't it really especially like for the time that we're in now, there's so much that can be done there, and things that during your day can seem so mundane can be so entertaining to somebody else. It's like that's another thing I hear is I can't make enough content for social media. Yeah, actually you can. You can. It's just the things that you look at because it's part of your everyday. You don't realize that the reality is that it actually could be fun or funny to somebody else.
Yeah.
It's something as simple as a picture of your cat sleeping on your lap or over your shoulders, and people love it. It's because it's something cute. It's something that I think a lot of it is it's
relatable.
You can identify with. Yeah, you can relate. Yeah, exactly. So, just don't lose sight of those little things, those little moments.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think a lot of people say hate when they talk about social media because they're just not strong at it, or they seem like maybe they're forcing it a little bit. Because I'm kind of in that boat. I hate to say that I hate it because I don't hate it. I love it, but it's not a strong point of mine but I'm getting better, and I'm definitely getting better. And that's another thing. It just takes time to slowly learn these things and get better at doing them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really boils down to habits. I still like I've gotten much better about it myself, but still I got a long way to go. I still got a long way to go. I should be putting more up there.
Oh, there's so much that you can put.
Oh yeah, just trying to figure out when. That's the other thing too. Like I've learned that if I post at certain times, I get more. You get more from a post depending on when you post it. Like if I post like those 2 a.m. posts.
Yeah.
All right. Like I'll post it's 2 a.m. and I'm bored, but I wake up in the morning and I have all kinds of responses and likes, and sometimes there's a retweet, things like that, because it's sitting there waiting for people in the morning, and it's one of those things. It's like, well, I'm up anyway. I
Right.
might as well,
Yeah.
have it up there so everybody can have it waiting for him in the morning, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so much. And Mike, you're absolutely right. There's just so much to be done.
I think it's
There's so
also
much to be done.
a lot of the hate comes from like your feed and what's populating in it. And a
Mhm.
lot of people don't realize that they control their feed and what's in it and
Mhm.
where it comes from. And it comes from what you engage with and what you click like on and what you comment on. Your feed populates based on those actions, right? So, in a
Yep.
way, if you don't like your feed, it's a reflection of what you're doing. So, change what you're doing. You're
Mhm.
obviously not
Yeah.
enjoying what you're doing. And it's amazing once you start looking at that because you have control of everything. And once again, if you don't like a platform, don't play on it. But I really don't feel that any platform is shoving something down your throat that you're not already engaging with.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
beauty of the internet. You can
Mhm.
control what you see.
Yeah.
You can flip a switch and make it all go away. It's one of the exercises that I engaged in that I've advised a couple other people to do is make sure that you go through, like, if you're seeing a lot, especially a lot of negativity, start going through who you're following and seeing where you'd be amazed. You take out 4 or 5 negative people out of the people that you're following, it can completely change your timeline.
Yep.
Like my timeline now, like if I go to my homepage, it's almost all positive.
Yeah.
It's almost all positive, and I will actually snipe, like if I see somebody going down a particular pathway, a negative pathway or something like that, I might take them off of my timeline for a
Yeah.
while. I might unfollow.
Or you could
Just-
do a mute or whatever for, they have a 30-day mute or something
Yeah.
on a lot of sites, and then
Mhm.
maybe after 30 days, if it's still going on, then kick them to
Yeah,
the
we'll-
curb. Sorry.
we'll take it out. But
Exactly.
yeah, you have the point being, yeah, you have a lot of control over that, and it's a lot of the notifications you get, a lot of what the algorithm puts in front of you. It's what you go for. So if you also, I mean, along those lines, like think it all the way through. If you're, if you want more positivity, if you want, like, a lot of what I've been trying to go for is education, because I'm trying to learn more. So I've been liking a lot of posts that are all about learning, or about positivity, or here's a really heartwarming thought that hasn't crossed my mind in a while, that kind of stuff. And it completely changes the outlook on Twitter,
Totally.
as far as what you're seeing. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's crazy. And once, sorry, go ahead, Spooo.
I was just gonna say, do we want to let people know we're gonna address questions later?
Yeah, we're gonna
We're
do
just
our
kinda
chat,
flowing
and
right
then
now.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
just doing our chat. The hell was I gonna say?
Sorry.
Okay, so yeah, like, and it can control your day, and it's amazing because if you wake up
Mhm.
and you get caught in the face with a bunch of negativity or even political views that you don't agree with, if you're just getting bombarded with this stuff that you've engaged with in the morning, it could affect the rest of your day mentally. And I think it's so important to start off your day right. And that could be a bowl of cereal and some positivity on social,
Yeah.
right? And absorb stuff.
Well, and
that
even what we just
gets
said
you
to
going.
each other earlier, Pixel, just shoveling the snow can get you into the right
Yeah, no, it's true.
attitude and mindset. A little bit of exercise and fresh air. It's a great start to your morning.
It is. It is.
It's
Just like
that
get the blood flowing.
Yeah, it's that alone time too. It's that you're kind of out there, and you can be in, while you're doing activities like that, or when you're exercising.
It's like a
too.
meditation.
Yeah, you're in your own headspace, and that's not a bad thing. You kind of set your mind straight for the day.
Yeah, collect
And
your
take it
thoughts
from
and
there.
organize everything, and then
Mhm.
strike when you're ready. Yeah. I guess standard. What are some things that you do to lay out your day from start to finish? Do you do it in like block form, or do you just kind of have tasks that you want to get done for the day?
I have every day planned. I actually have every day planned, and I have 2 checklists that I keep. I have a daily checklist. These are the things that have to get done every single day. All right. Checking Discord, posting on social media, my entire, and this is something that still amazes me, that people don't have a pre and a post show checklist for before and after they broadcast. And I have all that set up, everything right down to, and it's a little bit funny. Like turning on the computer is a big duh. Turning on the studio lights is a big duh, but like everything is on that list just so because it helps me. It helps
Because
me.
those things get forgotten.
Yeah. Setting up
The smallest things can get forgotten.
There was one day I didn't use the checklist and I didn't have my camera set up right, and I fired up OBS. I'm like, why does my camera look like garbage? Oh yeah,
Right.
I do need to do that. But I do keep 2 checklists, and like the first one I always go to is the daily. Like today I need to process all my clips for social media. Today I have to change my bot. I need to make sure my schedule is set right in the bot. I have like all these things that need to be done. And then I have a bigger checklist, which are where I put things like, like today after the podcast, as I mentioned to you, I'm going to be like doing a recording session because I have to record all those new clips for building Martha into the stream. And, so there's a bigger list as well that once I've gotten through the daily, now here's the other list that I have to get to.
Right.
Those lists come in really handy because when you do find yourself with an extra chunk of time, like, and it happens like, oh crap, my internet went out, so now I can't stream, so what else am I going to do? Or I've actually got a day off today, so what am I going to do while the camera's not on?
Right.
Kind of thing. And you don't have to sit there and look at 50 projects and go, which one am I going to tackle? You already have it written out, so you know what the next thing is that you want to do. And it gives you that base. It all comes from always write everything down.
Right.
Like every time I have an idea, even if I'm live streaming at that moment, I will always, I'll always write stuff down. So
Yeah.
I have all these notes, and then what I do is I'll take those notes and I'll put them in order. Like I want to do this first, this second, and all that.
Priorities.
Yeah, that's what I need to start. I just have a booklet of all these randomly written things. I need to organize it and decide what I want to do first, or what's, prioritize it basically.
Mhm. Yeah, that was my first list, Spooo. That was mine. Like I had
Right.
always just random stuff that I had written down, ideas that would come up and all that. And once I actually started organizing it, I was finding that I could get a lot done a lot more quickly. Like I used to look at these things in terms of projects, and it's like, oh, I don't have time for this project this day,
Right.
all that stuff. And I was actually talking to Pixel about this just a couple days ago. It's like I stopped doing that to myself. It's like I can knock those 4 things off. Those are quick,
Right,
And,
just a little bit at a time.
just a little bit at a time.
Organize when you can do it.
Yeah, and then save the true projects. Like what I've got to do today is a true project, but when I have a true project, I can maximize that time too. It's like I'm taking 5 hours today. I'm doing a recording session. I'm going to have it all done, and then I can start to go back to all this other little stuff
Right.
when I need to. So but that's really how to do it, is have a daily checklist and commit yourself to, I'm going to have all these things done on this given day.
Right.
And then I can go to the bigger to-do list and knock a few
Yeah, I
things
like-
out when I've got time.
I like the daily checklist thing. I mean, obviously, we all have an internal daily checklist, but I think writing it out, I don't write it out, but I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
It does
Um,
help. Yeah. I recently have
'Cause
started.
then it makes you feel accomplished too. Like, all right, I got this stuff done. My
Yeah.
daily stuff done. I can start working on bigger things.
From a psychological standpoint, and I just want to throw this out there too. One of the reasons I use a checklist is I learned a couple of years ago. Hello, Kitty. I learned a couple of years ago that that you actually you physiologically you get an endorphin kick if you have a checklist every time you check something off that list that's done.
Right.
And that always that little concept always stuck with
Makes
me.
you
And
feel
that's why
good.
I have these checklists now.
Yeah.
Is because it again, I love, you get those little endorphin kicks, and that drives you to do more.
Right.
That drives you to do more. And I'm sorry, Mike, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's cool.
It was just a thought I had as we were talking about it.
I mean, just on that note, it walks into the idea of like that's why you start off your day by simply making your bed, because that's the first thing you check off the list, and it's your first
Yeah.
check to get that return, right? Of like, oh, I got my first thing, first task of the day is done, and we can move on. And you start with that positive note, right?
And if
Yeah.
it looks good, then you feel good,
Yeah.
and you move on to the next task feeling good.
Yeah. And recently I've started using this program called Asana with Enders, and we kind of like go back and forth on it, creating tasks, and it's just super quick and easy. And when you check them off, you actually do get this like, and sometimes this animation happens on the screen, and it's just like this rewarding feeling of like, okay, good, we got this hammered, get it off the screen, we're done. But
Yeah.
yeah, and it also helps sort out this too, right? Because as the ideas continue to flow, and I feel like as you move further and further along your career, the ideas get bigger and bigger and more complex because you've built the base, you built the framework. Now you're building on top, and everything gets a little bit more complex as you move forward. And when you start getting into that complexity, if you don't write those ideas down, it can just pollute your mind, and you have these
Mhm.
massive ideas, these massive tasks that you don't even know how to break down yet because you haven't even written the task out.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important to do that. And I think that's why long-term success is a challenge, because you continually try to grow and push further, but it gets harder and harder to reach these goals that you're setting for yourself, and they're more and more complex, and it can be easy to defeat yourself by just letting it all sit up here and not executing, at least on the idea phase and the concepting phase, let
Mhm.
alone the development phase of that idea.
Yeah. It really. Trying to think of how I want to put this. It you spend so much time, like, and it just kind of falls along the lines of what you were saying about, and I talked about this in my class last night too. You spend so much time thinking about, like, I love it when somebody brand new comes to me. Let me put it this way: I love it when somebody brand new comes to me and says, "I want to figure out my branding," and that's great, but you haven't streamed even once yet. And let me tell you that I'm almost at my 2 year mark, and I'm just figuring out now what my branding is. I'm just figuring out now, like what direction I want to go. So how about you break this
It's
down
part of the journey, kind of, you know?
into smaller chunks? Yeah, and give yourself that time. Like last year, um, there was one branding that I thought we were ready for branding, and I tried to force it, and it failed miserably. All right, it really didn't work. It really didn't work. It actually did some damage to my channel. And what I should have been doing was allowing the branding to kind of form, because, and what happens too is that you don't know, there's going to be a lot of ideas that come to you, and this will go back to why it's so important to write things down. These ideas are going to come to you, and then it's not just that you're going to execute them, it's that you're going to try them. You're going to roll them out there, and then you're going to see how your community responds. And some things your community is going to love, and it's going to help you grow. And some things your community, honestly, is going to hate. And you're going to have to pull that back off of there. So what I did was I rolled this great big thing out there that the community really didn't respond well to. I wouldn't say they hated it, but they didn't respond well to it. And I ended up taking the whole thing away and continuing to work on the branding from there. But the reason I'm saying all this is that when you are putting your to-do lists together and you're starting to look at these things, um, as you're getting started, set yourself smaller goals. Don't go so huge out there that you're going to theme everything, or that you're going to create this major project and you're going to hate it, and now you've wasted a bunch of that precious time that you have. Try taking those smaller chunks, and then let the ideas kind of form, let your community kind of form. And then this reason this struck this note is like for where I'm at now that I'm figuring all this stuff, now I'm getting, yeah, now it's big ideas. Now I'm going to have to take a month to execute project X,
Right.
basically. But don't do that self super heavy, especially as you're getting started out. Don't go super heavy on that in the beginning. Work very hard. Like, your to-do list should be comprised of a lot of how you improve your craft. You're working towards like that 10,000 hours that Pixel talks about all the time. Like, you're working towards that 10,000 hours. You're perfecting how you stream, what your personality is going to be like. How do you chat effectively while still playing the game that you're playing? All those things. Make those your goals. Learn. Make it a goal to really learn while you're building. and getting yourself more out there on social media. I really wished I had started like 2 years ago. I really wish I had done more on social media, because I feel like I'm playing catch up on that now. Start getting into all those habits early and correctly, and then kind of let who you want to be and your branding and what you're going to represent kind of form on its own a little bit. Be an active participant, but see how things are gonna gel together.
Right.
Going back to the project you said that failed for your community didn't like it or whatever, SD, did you, because I want to talk about how much time you think, or even Pixel 2, should be put into a project. You come up with an idea, oh, this is going to be great, but sometimes people will give up after a couple of days and be like, it's not working for me, when really if they just let it build up another couple weeks maybe or whatever, and they would have seen some growth and gotten into it more.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, what
how
what I say with that is the idea of like building habits. Definitely in social, you should give at least 2 weeks to something for time wise. If you're putting something out there, right, for content wise, it's tough. With each thing. You want to make sure you give it the proper amount of time relevant to that task or what that category is. But definitely with social and content, I think you got to give it at least 2 weeks. And also that falls into marbles as well. Is like when we put something out there, that's why I like to let it sit for a season, is because people will go through emotional phases. The what is it? The 7 layers of doubt or lost or something, right? So it's like you get
7 layers of the raging pin.
Yeah. But you get like the hate, and then you get the sadness, and then it tapers off, and and you question why and everything. And I think it's important that you let the content get consumed at scale first before you start going, oh, it's not working or whatever, right? You just going, oh, it's not getting the right amount of views that I want.
Yeah.
Right. And don't just like, don't target the one video, but create a project around it. Then let it grow for a few weeks at least before saying, oh, it's not working.
I think a lot of people shut things off too quickly out there.
Totally.
Because they don't see anything.
Because we all want that instant gratification, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried this for a day and it didn't work. And I think one of the things that we as content creators have a tendency to forget is that when we roll something out new, it isn't just about us adjusting to it. Our community has to adjust to it too. So if you first roll something out and you get a whole bunch of negative feedback, you might need to give it just a little bit more time for everybody to get used to it. I went through a phase with my community where I had, I wouldn't say a ton of my community did this, but there was definitely, I definitely had my little naysayer. I called them my naysayer group, and they, every time I changed something, they'd immediately start complaining. They immediately like, oh my God, you changed this. Oh, why can't we go back to X? And for a little while, because they were so verbal, I listened. Like I'd let it sit out there for a couple of days, and I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, a lot of complaints. I'm pulling this back. And it got to the point where I stopped listening because I realized that it was just simply every time I changed something, they wanted to complain. Mm-hmm. And once I did that and started giving things a little bit more time, I could gauge better. Sometimes I found it could take as long as a month that a change was put into place before everybody would adjust and really settle in. But
viewers are brutal.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you do have to like follow your heart for a little bit before listening to the viewers.
Yeah, because it's also your project as well, and I think that's important to stay true to what you want. Obviously, you want everybody to be happy, but number one, you're not going to get that. Not everybody all the time is always going to be happy at what you do, but you want to. Hopefully, most people are happy,
and hopefully you're happy.
Yes,
you need that.
Well, and as again, as a like from a performer standpoint, as a content creator, you got to remember too that when you introduce these changes, you are going to get smoother with it as well. So where there might be that initial gut reaction from somebody where they're going, oh God, I didn't like that, or oh wow, they're not executing that very well. A couple of weeks in, once you're more practiced with whatever it is you're trying to implement, that might completely change.
Right.
By that point, they might look at it and go, oh, so they just needed more time with that. Okay. and then everybody kind of comes together. It's that whole, again, you're not alone. You've got your community with you, so you come as an army. And sometimes it takes a little bit for the whole army, including yourself, to adjust to whatever changes you've made. But I completely agree with Mike that it needs to be at least 2 weeks. I've had changes that have taken a month before everybody really grabbed onto it and started really enjoying the new aspects of it. So
Yeah. I mean, like, Tilted's a good example of that, actually. That was a shot in the dark. I was just trying something, and we put it together, and I don't think it started catching on for a couple weeks. I mean, like, months now. Like, I would just say it's just starting to catch on, actually. So months.
Yeah.
Like, we're a couple seasons into it. And so you just got to iterate, like, put an idea out there, see how people interact with it, and then iterate on it a couple times, and then make a decision whether it's failing or not. We're 30 minutes in. Do you guys want to go into question period?
I'm ready if you two are.
Alrighty.
I'll brace myself.
Guys, you guys are welcome to drop questions in the chat, and we'll try to get through them as you guys drop them.
Bugle Boy says still searching for my niche, which I feel like I'm still searching for my niche too. But I have little things, I guess. But finding that one main thing, I don't know if I'll ever have one of those.
Yeah. I feel like I'm very excited right now because I feel like I finally found mine. It took me a while to realize. It's kind of funny because Plur came along after like long after the channel had been rolling for a while, right? And it was really, but I realized that my old raver days is what was coming through in my attitudes towards how I was handling the channel.
Right. So
once I figured that out, like that main thing, now everything is building out around it. It's really exciting when you have, I was talking about this in the class last night too. I keep telling everybody, I can't wait until some of these people that are like attending the classes, attending the podcast, things like that, start to have their aha moments, both big and small.
Right.
I'm waiting for somebody to come to me and say, Jamie, I had this idea. It's really awesome. And it's like, I'm going to be the first person to sit there and say, go for it.
Yeah.
Right.
But I really hope that, that these things start to click. It's like all we did was really mention creating other content while you're not streaming. And suddenly GJC has 2 videos up. And it's like, those are those little moments. Those are those moments where people will grab onto something and go, I could try that. We could do that. I think that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that people will find their way because it's going to be different for everybody, but yeah, when you can finally have that moment where you grab onto it. This was a mistake back here. This little furry guy back here, when I switched chairs, I never thought that my stream mascot was going to become a permanent thing. Well, he's there all the time now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, Freaker, he's chilling. Absolutely. What do we have any questions popping up in chat?
Little gray aliens asking about energy stuff.
Shaboon, I just stuff it all up in there, man.
Stuff it all up.
He's wondering how I fit my hair in the hat.
Why the energy system was changed.
Angry and changed. And I mean,
in the stream.
A game is always going to change. You can't. If people are going to get angry, it's always not going to favor everybody, right? So it's just about, if you don't enjoy it, you just got to change your content, and whether it be the game, whether it be yourself, or just take a break until it changes back to something you like. So if somebody's angry, I guarantee there's people angry about the energy system. There's nothing we can do to satisfy everybody. But it's a system I believe in, and I think that it's proving to be a strong system as a whole.
And little gray alien, to answer like the second half of what you said, like streamers get angry and upset with it having to check people's energy a lot. This goes back to something that I say over and over and over and over again, and that is, streamers, you've got to remember, you're in control of your stream. You don't have to check people's energy a lot. In a 5-hour stream, like what I did to address that problem was I explained to everybody, it's like, we're going to do 2 energy checks this stream. I will call it out. Please don't ask. All right. I will call it out when we, when we reach that time. And that way the energy checks do happen. But if you're, as a streamer, if you're getting angry because everybody is trying to get you to check their energy, you have to remember that as a streamer, you don't have to check energy every time somebody comes in and asks. Okay, it's your content. You are in control of that. And it's better to have, like, from my perspective, like, I want to help our grinders out. Like, that's not where I'm coming from. Where I'm coming from is control it. Now we're going to check everybody during this race. You'll hear me say it all the time. During this race, at me if you want me to check your energy. And at the end of the race, we'll check your energy. And then I'll call out for it again a second time. But you don't have to become a slave to the system in that regard. It's like you have control over when, you have control over when you're going to actually check energy and when you're not. And you have to understand that as a streamer, and I understand we want to keep our communities happy. We want to be there for our communities always. I fully understand that feeling, but you have to understand that it is okay to say no.
Yeah.
That it really is. It really is, because what's happening is, while you're tangling yourself up doing this time and time and time again, you're destroying the experience for many others that are in the stream with you, because you're holding your stream up by doing constant energy checks. So structure it is what I'm saying.
Just let people know what's going on. Say, I'll check energy every hour, or I'll check energy every 2 hours, and if you're not here, you're not here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
own it.
Will there be changes to the tilted system? As of right now, it's not going to change. I might add some pieces and some difficulty to it, but other than this, like, for the system, it's fine for now. I was talking with Spooo about this, is like, if it does get to scale, if there is a lot of streamers playing tilted, it could change the dynamic and where the viewers are. But it also, tilted doesn't contain 1,000 racers per race potential. So there's also that, which could cause, like, there's all kinds of theories I have about marbles once it hits scale. If it hits scale as well, right? The if is there. But let's say it does hit scale and we have tons of people playing marbles. The trickle effect will happen. And the trickle effect is the top streamer can only hold so many people in their race, and it falls down because people want to participate in the races. So technically, a true marble streamer has a cap potential for viewers, in my opinion, and it's a positive impact that happens is the trickle effect to the rest of the community, and it bolsters everybody, and everybody grows together because of the framework of the game. So yeah, I guess that's kind of like where I stand right now with Tilted. I have my eye on it. As of right now, it's not game breaking, so we'll leave it as is because everybody's having fun. When everybody's having fun, that's a good thing. And there was a big question from Pegasus Plays. Did anybody catch that?
Yeah, I read it. Yeah. He's talking about getting your day started and feeling energetic and positive and to go. He talked about making the bed, but even that, I was just going to bring up, for the past few months, I've been making sure, I've always done this in the morning, made sure I drink a full glass of water. Drinking a full glass of water really helps the organs wake up in the morning. And if you're not doing that, definitely, I do 16 ounces and I just chug it. You can do whatever you want, but I think that is super helpful. Movement, exercise, stretch, and meditation is something I've been doing a lot the past few months. I cut out caffeine and cigarettes recently. I've just been doing this stuff more, and it's just been making me feel so much better.
Yeah.
I think meditation is so important. Like we talked about earlier, getting in the right headspace at the beginning of the day. Exercise helps that. Stretching for sure.
Yeah. Meditation can be perceived in many ways, and I think there's lots of ways to address it as well. It's just about getting inside your head and thinking and letting yourself think in a clean space without interruption and just letting thoughts flow. That's kind of what meditation is, essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
To the core. But also just to the basis of that question, for me, like I was in the military for 10 years. My body is messed up. Like my joints are done. Like my ankle's messed. My shoulders are done, like just done. But I can sit there and go, I could lay in bed all day and be like, woe's me, I have all this pain, I can't do anything, like I'm done, like I'm just gonna lay there and just worry about the pain all day. But a couple years ago, I was getting really into a bad headspace, and it just got to the limit, and I had to change my life, and I did. And once I started worrying about the positive things and where I wanted to be and what I wanted to work towards, and just starting setting my goals right, everything started changing. And it started with, getting up in the morning and just getting some activity done, getting in the right headspace for the day, and then just I drink lots of water now. And I think that has a huge deal with it. I kind of pops, and I drink G Fuel and water, a lot of it, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And just, and just doing it, and do it over and over. And don't be like, day one, it's not working. Day two, it's not working. Don't look at it like that way. Just be like, this day by day, it's slowly working towards your ultimate goal. And as long as you're working towards happiness, then you should be good.
Yeah.
And then you just keep pushing. It's challenging. It's not easy. Like, I'm not saying it's easy. You just got to buckle down and do it.
Some people need a wake up call. For me, to really start stretching all the time was I was having nerve damage in my arm, and now I have none at all, and I'm just stretching all the time. That's what the doctor suggested. But it's you don't need drugs to feel better, or you don't need some sort of prescription to have your body feel better. You just got to keep it moving and keep stretching, and it will definitely help you feel better.
Yeah. You can never, especially with what we do, where we do so much sitting and we spend so much time at the desk and all that. You cannot downplay the importance of getting physical,
mm-hmm.
and getting like, Spooo, to your point, like you're talking about meditation, getting mental with yourself,
spiritual
too. Getting mental, spiritual. Yeah. Just, there are so many amazing things that come from taking just that little bit of time out for yourself. It's like every time, like I pretty much, every day now I go for I call it, it's a walk, jog, walk, run, jog kind of thing that I do. I alternate between, but
right.
It's still like that hour is so golden to me. I get so many ideas. My head clears out. It's really my time. Earbuds are in, sunglasses are on, and if I don't want to look at anybody or listen to anybody while I'm out there, I don't have to. It's just
right.
me.
Yeah. I think that's actually something that streamers stress themselves out about. I mean, I do it too. They don't want to leave their community, basically. They always want to be going and on and doing something for them, and they don't take a minute for themselves to adjust back to the real world.
Oh yeah, you got to switch it off. You got to be able to switch it off. You have to. You need that. You just need that time. Like, you're there, like these streamers are there. Like, a perfect example, Spooo. Like, streamers are there 23 out of 24 hours. How about you give yourself the 24th?
Right.
Really give it to yourself. It's okay. We love our communities, and we do everything we can to make sure that they know that. But I think streamers lose sight of the fact that their communities understand, and they do. I got to experience it firsthand. The end of December, I was off. I couldn't stream for 10 days because I was that sick. The flu really knocked me out. I came back to one of the largest streams, outside of like community days and things like that. I came back to one of the largest streams I've had in 2 months, just because everybody was, it was like a little party when I got back. It's like, oh, finally we're back on the camera again, and that's just it. Is like you can, especially if you're there on the daily, it's all right to take an hour or two and drop out. It's turn your Discord off if that's what you got to do. Turn everything off and go take a walk, meditate, whatever it is that's your thing. Just make sure you do it. Play a video game, whatever, it's whatever works best for you.
I agree, Pegasus. We are our own worst enemies, but we can also be, we can boost ourselves up. You can look in the mirror and say, hey man, you kick ass.
Yeah. That's why it's so important to chase your passion, because even at the lowest point, like the way should be clear. You just got to keep pushing in that direction, right? And there will be struggles, the
Hmm.
uphill battles, but it's always in that direction, and you need to keep sight of that. It's so important. I think it's so important for everybody in this world, not even just streaming, not just not just game dev, like everything. Find that thing you're passionate about and go in that direction, and keep
Hmm.
working towards it. And if it's money, it's money. If it's a certain status in your life that you want to reach, go for it. Just make sure that you're 100% passionate about it, and you're not doing it to impress somebody. You're not doing it to satisfy somebody else's opinions and stuff.
Hmm.
Do it for yourself and be 100% true to it. And that's why that's the whole walks into the whole thing of like why everybody says have fun when you're streaming. It's not necessarily have fun. It's just go after your passions. Do the things that make you happy, right? And you don't have to chase happiness because you're already there. You just
Yeah.
got to keep working at it, because this
Yeah.
is, if you're 30, if you're 40, or if you're 50, you still got decades to go. You still have
Hmm.
decades to go, and just keep working, and have fun with it. It's so important, because I've been there. I've been there where it's like, oh, there's nothing I could do to change this, and there's nothing I could do for this, and when you constantly say that to yourself, you're building a ball. You're building a box around yourself, right? Because you're trying to go in different directions. You're going, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. You're just putting up walls instead of thinking like, okay, what can I do? Where's my openings, right?
Well, it's like what you talked about the other day with perfection too. People won't do things because it's not perfect,
Right.
but then you're not doing anything because nothing's perfect.
Yeah. And if you're a perfectionist, right? And that's why it's
Yeah.
the perfectionist mentality is interesting, because that idea of like, unless you're doing something, you're like, okay, this has to be perfect, and you're working on it, then that's one thing. But it's a lot of the time it's like,
You're not
I want,
starting it
yeah, I want
because,
this to be
you know.
perfect, but I don't think I can get it perfect right away, so you don't even do it at all.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people. I build walls too, but I try not to let it consume me. Sometimes you just need maybe a day. You got to disappear, and you just got to be by yourself for a day. I don't recommend it because I feel like it's good to have friends to reach out to and things like that. But everyone's different, so sometimes you do just need to shut out, and but you can't let it consume you because then that's when the depression starts.
Yeah. That's I for see, and for me, like I feel like I have so much around me now, between Twitch and social media and all that stuff, that when I, when I when I need my day, I have to drop out. I have to drop out. I'm shutting everything off. Maybe I'll go play a video game or something, but I'm boom, I'm gone. I'll see you guys in a day. I'll see you in 24.
Right.
But it's very dependent, Spoo, to your point, it's very dependent on your personality. Some people need people around them to feel better, even if they don't feel like it. All right. Some people need isolation, and some people just need to not do something for a day. And that's it. That's enough to remove them from the situation so they appreciate it more. Everybody needs a refresh, I think, is what it boils down to. Just
And
it's
learning what's
very,
best for you too.
yeah, it's
Some
very
people try to do
crucial.
things they see others do, and it's not right for them.
It's
And then,
very
yeah.
it's very
Sorry. Go ahead.
crucial. Oh no, yeah, no, it's totally fine. I just wanted
It's
to see,
very
it's just
crucial you finish your point.
I'm trying to talk over here. No, it's very crucial that you really know, like, this is part of self-analysis, but that you really know what your refresh is, so that you can refresh at maximum capacity, and it actually helps refresh you more quickly. So it's I say this a lot, but streamer, know thyself. Know what is going to work for you and recharge. For me, I know the best thing for me to do is shut everything off and walk away. Like, that's what I have to do. I'm gonna go throw some earbuds in. I'm going for a walk. I'm gonna listen to music for 4 hours straight. It might be the same song. I don't care. But again, it's like what works for you personally, and if you know that, again, you can get through some of that more quickly. And I just wanted to take a real quick second and say thank you to Chide and Descender. I saw both your comments, and you're welcome. Um, I'm glad that that's working out I'm glad that it helps China. I'm glad that it helps you out on a Saturday night in December. I'm glad that that's helping, the grinder side of things as well. We try. I think like the best of us are walking that balance between how we build community and how we take care of our grinders and how we take care of our pro marblers. And I'm glad that that's helping you out. That's the whole purpose behind why I changed, why I did things a little bit. So,
Well,
I
yeah, there's
think,
also a balance there for everybody
mhm.
with the game, right? Where
Yeah.
everything's headed. Like we're all learning, and we're gonna work. And from the studio side, we're gonna continue to build tools now that we have the system that we can commit to. I feel like we can commit to. We're gonna put more behind it. So the guys are working on this massive app overhaul where you're gonna be able to track your energy tiers, where you've started tiers in certain streams, and you'll be able to know
Oh,
where you
that's
need to go to
awesome.
complete them. So we're gonna build tools now to give you more information now that we've found a system that works at a core level and hits some really key points that we want to hit as a studio, because now there's a strategy to the game, and I think it's really important to have that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And also like the way that it integrates with streaming. Like remember this isn't just a game that you play. This is a stream interactive experience, and we're trying to do more than just be like a game. Like, hey, we're a game where your viewers can get involved, and that's it. Like we want everybody to have a full experience, and there's goals set in place that help you walk into positive directions, not only for your stream but for your community and all this stuff.
Going to what Little Alien said, he was worried about the grinders not sleeping and their health and stuff. I just want to say, no matter what, if there's a competition, you're all depending on sports, video games, anything. People are always going to push themselves harder than they should, and you just gotta, hope that people know how to take care of themselves. And if if you're watching them, that they are taking care of themselves, things like that. Just reach out to them if hey, make sure you're getting your rest. I say it to people all the time. Go get some sleep. You've been up too long. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could be a human.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with anything, people are going to push themselves. So you just got to hope that they don't push too far and hurt themselves.
And it's really easy to watch what others do and look at it and go, man, that's crazy, or why are they doing that, or that kind of thing. But it's to exactly what Spooo just said. It's people are always going to push themselves too, way too hard, way too hard. And you got to understand that you control your own actions, not somebody else's. So if they're going to do that and they're going to beat themselves up, like Spooo said, you can reach out, but you don't lose yourself in what they're doing.
Right.
Basically, they have to make their own decisions. So don't let it ruin the experience for you. And I've seen this. I'm only saying this because I've seen this happen with a couple of our marblers now. Don't let it ruin the experience for you because of what the person next to you is doing.
Right.
It's great to be caring. It's great to be loving, and those are wonderful qualities. But don't lose yourself in trying to help some of them out, because there's people that again, season after season after season, I've watched them beat themselves up badly, and it makes my heart bleed because I love this community, but I can't control that. So all I can really do is give them a loving landing pad, give them another loving stream that they can be a part of while they're grinding,
right?
And show a lot of love and kindness, and look at it that way.
Yeah, give them another reason other than to, some people want to be really competitive and they just don't have the time, or they don't have what it takes to stay up all those hours and do it constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And but there's more to marbles than that. That's really the point. There's so much more to marbles than just doing that. So showing people that light is very important.
Totally.
Yeah,
because remember, if you're a streamer, your stream is an inlet for the game. It's still like, while the game is still at where it's at, there's still, even when there's 100 streamers playing marbles, discoverability is so high. If you're at the bottom of the list, you're a few scrolls away. Yeah. And don't forget that. And I think a lot of people let themselves lose sight of that even at 5 viewers, 2 viewers, you're an inlet for the game. You're an inlet for marbles on stream, which means new people are coming to your stream, popping in, at any moment in time. And if you're in a negative headspace, if you're just constantly spitting on the game because you're not happy with it, then that's going to reflect on everybody, on the whole community, on the game, on your stream. Because if you create a space around your stream that's all about crapping on what you're doing, then that's the people that are going to grow around you, is people
it's
who
like
like to jump
GJC
on
right
board.
He's out there just preaching marbles, trying to teach everybody the most he can about the competition, about everything he can, and he's such a positive guy in that sense, and that's awesome to see.
No, yeah, totally.
It's gonna help people. It's gonna help the game grow.
That's the flip side. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like you can take what you have and just talk about it if you're truly passionate about it, and it comes out in your content.
I wanted to zoom in on something that Hugs Needed Daily jumped on chat real quick. I did lose myself last season, got to level 27, and then realized I wasn't actually enjoying the game, streamer, or chat anymore. And that's, Hugs, that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Well, it's good that you made that realization too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that you can make a change.
That's dead on. And there's a lot of people, Hugs, that I've talked to along the way that did that. Zori is another one. She's been very public talking about her experience with trying to grind out, get into the top 10, things like that. And she's one of the people with the chevron. But the thing is that she said she would never do that again. And she talks about how it almost ruined the game for her. And if it's getting to that point for you where the grind is ruining the game, that's the point. That's a really big indicator that it's time to change how you're racing
and that can be almost in any game.
Game.
Once you start getting to a competitive level, it just becomes a job, work.
Yeah.
Not fun. It's serious. People are cutthroat, it's
You got to remember that and I've seen this in my community time and again, that there's a very large group of people that did the grind for a season and then settled into a home. They found during the course of that, they found a streamer that they really like, or streamers that they really like, and they go hang with on the regular, and now they don't grind or they don't go for the points. We have a very elite group that tries to do it season after season after season, and much love to them and respect to them. But for me, you all know where I sit with this. I make sure that everybody's taken care of, regardless of whether they're grinding, whether they're there for community, whatever the case may be. But, it's to me, in the end, what's going to keep people coming back, even our grinders and all that, is it's this massive community. And that's just it. It's not just the fact that you're racing for points, or you're coming out because you enjoy an interactive game. You might come for that. You're going to stay for the people around you. That's really where it ends up every single time. Even the people that grind season after season, same thing. They still have their favorite streams they go hang out in. So, remember that there is always, regardless of who you're looking at or what they're doing with the game, there's always that people factor.
Oh, totally. So important.
Mm-hmm.
Double XP races. Okay, the bonus XP system. You get 1 bonus XP per hour, whether you're live or not, and it just dumps into your account. And when you race, if you have one, it'll use one and double the XP of that race.
I think the competitive side of anything can also be related to streaming too. I know we only have a couple minutes, but going back to trying to connect it to streaming, streaming is a very competitive world out there too. So that's, if you find yourself hating streaming, sometimes you just got to take a step back and ask yourself, is this for me? What do I need to do to make this something that I do enjoy?
Yeah, absolutely. And don't fall into the trap again. I've seen this come up a few times again lately. Don't fall into the trap that person X is streaming and they're pulling my viewership away. Don't take that mentality. Don't take that mentality. You've got to grow your own thing. You've got to grow your own channel and your own community. Don't worry about the fact that community member Y was over with this other streamer. That's not how it works.
100%.
That's not how it works.
And with marbles, you're going to see a lot of the same people in channels, but then you should also be growing a core community group yourself if you're a streamer. So you should, if you're big on marbles like me, I have a Spooo Town community and I have a marbles community, and a lot of them are intertwined, but they go all over the place. So it's beautiful, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's nice to go. It's nice to go into other streams and see familiar names and familiar faces.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's a lot of fun.
Well, it creates
It's
a
a lot
really
of fun.
welcoming environment as well. You see a friendly face, you're like, oh, okay, well, I can jump in here, you know, and then you start getting involved, and I think that's the cool thing about marbles. It just wraps everybody together. If they want to be involved, if you don't want to be, you don't have to be,
Right.
you know. But yeah, we hit it on the note. That's 10:59 on my clock.
Yes, that's what I'm showing. Well, I'm showing 8:59, but yes.
And I agree, Tier. I think it's smart to hit all the there's so much to marbles, right? I think it's smart to try everything out. Try competing for a little bit, and if it's not your thing, then just you have to realize that. Don't force yourself into anything. Try Tilted. If it's not your thing, get out of there. But give it some time. Give it.
Yeah.
Try to see if it's something that is for you.
Let
Or
me,
maybe you're just a viewer and you like to pop around and roll in races randomly.
yeah.
Check out new streamers.
That's always fun.
There's all sorts of different levels of marblers, and it's great.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm just gonna answer a quick couple questions here. So Chide asked about Steam. Steam was positive. It wasn't exactly what I thought right away, but it seems like we're gonna start building a history now on Steam, and people are gonna be able to see that all the events that go on the Steam community. I think it's very important that that's tracked the way that it is, because as people start getting involved in marbles, if they see the Steam community active and how much we post and how many tournaments are going on, mid-season tournament, end-season tournament, all these little events that are going on, they're going to start going, oh, this game has a large community around it, and it creates an attraction. So I think we're starting to see that now, where the Korean community has got into it, and there's a lot of new faces coming in, and I think it's just all about information around the game as well, which has helped a lot. And just everybody's playing in their own way now, that you don't have to just race. You could do Tilted. You could do all this stuff, which is so cool. So I think that's going to help, and Steam has been a step towards the right direction, as well as the shop changes and all the game changes that we're implementing. We're all starting to take everything we've learned and put it into all these elements that we're redoing. So I think that's really positive. And
do you have 2 minutes to talk about what Drifted said? I mean,
maybe
you want to do it during stream, but I think you're talking about Drifted a tier system where maybe the first one is like 20 races, and then the second one is 15, and there's something like where it goes downhill rather than uphill, like more and more races towards the end or less and less races towards the end rather than more. I don't know, I've never heard that idea. I thought it was interesting. I don't know
the reason the reason it spreads large at the top end is so that because you're getting more energy, you need to commit more to one stream to get a tier done, and that's the important part. That's the part that I believe in. That I think that's the strong point.
Yeah, I guess if you started with 20 races, then you would have to be on only 2 streams to start off with 50 energy, So yeah, I see that.
And I actually want to cut down on the starting energy of each reset because of that, because people are widespreading so much. Because the meta is that you work your way out, and those corrective energies, like the extra energy you get for tier 2, 3, 4, and 5. Where you get at 1 extra, like you net 1. Those tiers are designed to be like a fudge factor if like the system has a hiccup, which it does do. I know that. Or if a streamer does go offline, hopefully you can collect up some of these energies and save them instead of go, okay, I got an extra 5. That means another stream I can get involved in, right? But there's going to be a meta, and you guys are going to play the meta the way that you guys see the meta needs to be played. And we're going to continue adjusting it, but I think the current system is in a place that is really strong for everybody. You just need to see it that way and like absorb it and just process what it truly is, instead of like, oh, I have to go to like, I think a lot of people look at it like that way, is like, I have to go do this now. And when you put that in your head, you start disliking what you're doing, and then why are you doing it is the question, right? Why do you grind marbles? What is, I mean, like, I would love to have an interview with like a whole bunch of competitive racers and say, what is the drive to do this? Because I think that's an important question to ask. Like, why do you do it? And I'm just a straight up answer. Like, I'm not looking to like get on you, just curious. Right? I mean, Spoo, when you did it, why what was the attraction for you?
Um, being number one, having that emote in the game, that was the original thing for me. But like, well, going into, with the first stream I saw, I was, what is this? What's going on? And then I went to your stream and I was like, wait a second, you can get an emote in the game? What's happening? And I just listened and I listened, and I got the game and I saw that there was that orange ball I could get, and I needed this many races, and it just took off from there because I wanted the orange ball. I just wanted things, really. A lot of the attraction was wanting things, but then I started meeting people and realizing that all these people, it takes so many people to achieve this. So I started just building up friendships within the community and telling other people to go to other streams, and it just developed this huge community aspect behind winning.
Yeah.
So it was just, I don't know, it's so addictive, so captivating.
Totally. I agree. I think there's many reasons why people do it. I think people do.
And
like,
I had just gone full-time streaming too, so I was like, exposure.
Right.
Oh my god, I gotta get this.
Yeah, like it does give that, and
Yeah.
I believe some people focus in on that and do that. Some people just like for me, I love that I get points. I go to channels and I play and I get excited when I get points, but I'm there for the person. I love being there for the person. If I had zero energy, it wouldn't matter to me. I mean, of course, I'm not grinding to the top of the leaderboard either, but I just enjoy the people who play and everybody who like wraps themselves into it, and everybody wraps themselves up in a different way with marbles, and it's so cool to see. It's so cool to pop into a stream and just people are trying new things and playing in a different way, making it hype,
I
commenting.
love when I see random creative ideas out there happening that I've never seen before.
Yeah, we're such a young bunch when it comes to streaming. Like a lot of us are still just are still just learning what we want to do and what it's like to stream and what's going to help us grow and all that good stuff. So
Feels good when people reach out and ask me questions on how to do something on streaming. Like I love being able to help.
Mhm.
And I think that was another thing that was just so captivating with marbles in the beginning, was like just teaching people the game. I was just so excited to tell people about, oh man, there's leaderboards and all that. Like it's just, I don't know, so much fun.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of fun. The whole aspect of it is fun. Whether you're just having fun watching someone do something creative, or you're watching people compete, or you're watching people tilt, it's just, I don't know. I could go all day.
Yeah, no, it's like, that's what I mean. It's like in Chide like chiming in about like feeling pressured to complete people's tiers. That's human nature. You wanna work for somebody. You want to work hard for somebody. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just some people take it too much and like really beat themselves up over it. And
that's where coming back to owning the stream is. Like, look, I'm doing 20 more races.
Yeah.
And 20 more races, that's it. Like, shout it out of the mountaintops. If you guys do not hear me say this, it's not my freaking problem.
Yeah, no, totally.
That's why I keep a clear start and end time. It's like
right.
we get in as many races as we can within these 5 hours, and I guarantee you we'll get at least this many in. And it boils down to clear communication. It just boils down to clear communication.
Yeah, let people know what you're doing. But it's also, that's great because marbles should help people organize their stream then too, and get used to doing that. Saying, hey guys, today I'm going to start out doing this. I'm going to do this many races. Maybe we'll end with this, and then I'll switch to that, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. Well, let's call it there, guys. That was we went a little bit over, but it was a good conversation.
It's good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out. We got Community Day in just under an hour, so we'll be back. And Spoo is the co-host today, or the second host. And Standard Damage, we'll see you on the airwaves.
Thanks for coming out, guys.
We'll see you next time, guys.
Bye, guys.